Yo, yo, what up, Division 2 agents? This your boy, Trade Day 381, coming at you with another video. This go around, what we're going to do is a short set of series called So You Wanna, right? So, for all you veteran players out there, the ones who have been playing in Division 2 for 6 years, the ones who have pretty much said that the game is dead. Why are you still playing this game? People still play the Division. Oh, this, that, and the third. This video is not for you, so turn it off, letting you know ahead of time. This is for you who have been in the game for maybe a month or two or even a year, and you still find enjoyment in it. So I'm going to make this series pretty short. It's going to be like 4 or 5 videos. And the first set is called So You Want to Make a Build, right? Simple, or so you would think. First thing you need to know when you're trying to make a build is your playstyle. And that's the truth. Is like knowing your playstyle is the best way to build a build around how you play, not how the build plays. Because if you go in there and you put on something like, I don't know, strikers, and strikers is pretty much it's not an in cover, it's a run and gun type of build. It's more DPS centered, and you can run it as a all red tank, or you can run it as an all red DPS, so you can run it as an all blue tank, or you can do 50-50, which is what I do. I run 3 reds and 3 blues. Or no, I run mine with 4 blues. That way the Memento's backpack count as the fifth, and run it with 2 reds. Therefore, the Memento is, well, as you can see, is 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5, and then that's 1 and 2, right? Run my 4 and 1 with that counting as 5 and 2. That's my strikers build. My Umbra, one of my favorite ones. Run it 4 and 2. 4 blue cores, 2 reds. Every now and again, I'll swap it up for a third. My Heartbreakers, I run that one. Technically, that is 5 and 1, but I alternate the Catharsis mask for a Coyotes mask, or a Sesko, or whatever it is. Either way, point is, so you want to make a build, right? So the first thing you need to assess when you're playing this, because I usually play my control points with, my world tier on heroic with 4 directors and the memento backpack. I pretty much get all the kills that I need, and then I stack up on the trophies, which allows me a little bit of armor regen. It's not like drastic, huge like the armor regen builds that are out there, but it is enough to where I can take damage. I don't have to waste the med kit, because in about 10 seconds I'm gonna have full armor all over again. That's why I run mine with so many blue cores. Um, but like I said, it is a run and gun type build, because you can take damage, not a massive amount of damage, but you can take some damage and still be just fine. And the blue core to save you if like I'm starting to get into rocking tenacity, rocking the Eagle Bearer for and the bonus armor that you get from the Memento backpack, kind of mitigates the damage on tenacity when you got it procced. So when it runs out, if you hadn't gotten that third kill, what'll happen is the bonus armor that you collect, tenacity will take it off of that versus your actual armor. But my playstyle is usually mid-range. Like, I like my enemies to be right there where that median is. You know, I don't like to play up close. Not truly. Because up close, the NPCs do a little bob and weaving. Now, the whole point of this series is by the very end, it's going to be so you want to go into the dark zone, or so you want to go into conflict. Because let's be honest, the whole point behind playing this game, the in-game content is and always has been being able to make it into PvP and be comfortable in PvP. But like I said, knowing your playstyle is huge. So you want to make a build centered around your playstyle. If you are the type that likes to play with skills, You see, that's why I don't like them up close, because their movement is weird. Like, what is going on? Like their movement is real weird. They'll the moment you aim at them, they know your aim. The game is the NPCs are very attuned to your movement. So when you aim at them, they know exactly how to bob when your reticle is focused on them, and you have to adjust. And it's usually micro adjustments. And as you can see, like I said, that's my range. That's my play style. I like, mid range, not close range, and I'm not really good with snipers. So initiating combat at this range is optimal for me. That's why I like, DPS strikers and umbras and heartbreakers, because that range is perfect for my playstyle. So when you're starting out in the very beginning, like if you're going through from 0 to level 40, learn what range is great for you, and then learn what playstyle you actually play as. If you're an up close running gun, Hunter's Fury is maybe the best thing for you, because Hunter's Fury gives you that damage buff and debuff to the NPCs at close range. If you are a skill player, and you're used to running skills, that is completely fine. Don't let anybody knock you playing skills in PvE. Now, in PvP, I have my own bias with it because the skills are ridiculously strong. But that's just me and my bias. Don't let it affect you. Um, I digress. Either way, learning your playstyle is key to making your very first build in the division. Or even if you are a semi-decent player and you hadn't figured out your build yet, or one that you want to be comfortable with, uh, learning exactly how you play is completely key to it. So once you're solidified on your playstyle, with long range, short range, mid range, skill, if it's a combination of all four sets, uh, the next thing you want to do is go into the map, hit uh, up on the D-pad. This is for you PlayStation players, or whatever the button is for the Xbox. Look at the targeted loot, and whatever the targeted loot is for the day. That's what you want to focus on. Like here, it is what is this? Future Initiative. This is Unaziga, whatever it is. That's Fenris. Fenris is always good if you're an AR player. That's LMGs, but look to see exactly which build you're looking for. If you want to run Heartbreakers, it's right over here in what is this? Federal Triangle. Uh, Grupo Sombra is always good for if you want crit damage. The main thing that you want to know though, when you're doing this, is what stats really help you out with damage versus just pulling out shots. There's a big difference between the damage that you're doing with your AR and the damage you're doing that is critting. Now that's a huge thing that I learned from Division One when I was doing, I want to call it Last Stand. Last Stand, I learned that there's a huge difference between just the build and how much crit that you have in the build. While I drink coffee, excuse me. So, oh, my aim is terrible. So I'm relearning the Eagle Bearer. If you don't know, it's a gun that I used to play with back in the day, but then Tenacity just like it really turned me off. So I started going for the FAMAS and the CTAR. And at some point in time, I was actually rocking the Chameleon too. Which, don't get me wrong, I love the Chameleon. The Chameleon is a really good PvE gun. It's horrible in PvP. And it's just because the stacks are a build-up thing, and build-up is not what you need in PvP. Everything you need is upfront damage. But either way, sure. Let me take this resource convoy out first before I continue on. So, By the way, if you get a resource convoy in this little area right here, if you catch them in between this control point and this safe house, which is usually about right here, only one NPC will spawn in the sewer beneath it. So that's a quick that's some quick levels for you. That's what I used to do when the resource convoys were bugged out and they were given like twice, two or three times the amount of XP. Oh, off tangent again, ADD moment. Off tangent. Y'all missed if you missed out on the XP thing. I'm sorry. The 5 times XP was really good. You saw a bunch of YouTubers or people who are on Twitch or whatnot talking about how good the take advantage of it, and it actually was a really good thing. It gave you 1,000 shade, the option to get 1,000 shade points, shade levels in 3 days. And I put out a video saying that, hey, this is how you want to do it. You're going to run the control points, and a lot of people were saying, nah, I'd rather run it through challenge and this, that, and the third. Here's the reason why I did my video. I was saying do it on heroic with all 5 directives on. You don't have to. You can still run it on challenging with 3 directives on, 4 directives on, however you want to do it. Sure, you'll run through that fast. But what you're missing out on, or what you were missing out on, was the amount of XP that you were getting per control point. Yeah, you may run through it faster and get a, a butt ton of XP, but I can run through it the exact same way with the build that I had and still come up with 3 times the amount of XP that you got. And that was the truth. 3 to 5 times more. And you want to say there's absolutely no way because if I can run 10 control points while you did your 5, you know, I still end up with the same amount of XP as you did. Nah, you wouldn't have because I was running a headshot determined build, and it took me, and I misspoke in my video. I said a minute and a half. I meant like 3 minutes to knock out the control point. And here's the thing about that is that even though you're running on challenging with 3 directives on, if you are doing a control point that is in proximity with another control point and you run across and do an activity at the exact same time, that initial control point starts out on challenging at level 3, but by the time you take out an activity on the way to the next one, that particular control point ended up going to a level 4, which is a heroic control point. So while you're saying I can do challenging and run through them faster, eventually you're doing heroic control points in a challenging world. So you're getting the XP of a heroic with 3 directives as it stands. That's the part that y'all are missing. These control points, their status is fluid on challenging. They can go from challenging to heroic. If you do it on hard, they can go from hard to challenging to heroic based on the activity that is around it. And that's the whole reason why I do mine on heroic only because now when I do them, I know exactly what I'm getting. I'm getting heroic control points. If you're doing challenging and you don't want to do a heroic control point, eventually you're gonna do one because they're gonna shoot up to heroic or level 4 control point, which is a heroic control point. But that's my tangent. Back to the video. I'm sorry. So when you're playing and you're trying to make your build, know when you go to your stats what you want to shoot for. Like you see on this one, I have 32% crit chance, which is not ideal, but that's because I'm running with a Fenris chest piece. Now you can put on Seska. Seska gives you 10% crit chance, which should put me up at 43, right? I go to my stats, go all the way down to where my gun is. Let's see. I hit R2, that very first gun with the little, sideways square. And then you got your other gun right here. That's the weapon stats. It's weapon talents. And this is the stat. You go to your weapon stats. Now I'm at 42% crit chance. You want to in between 42 and 60. Everybody tell you, go for 60. Look, 60 is fine. Don't get me wrong. It's a higher percentage chance, but 40 is fine as well. Uh, 50 to 55 is ideal. That way you can invest in other stuff, but go for your head. Sorry, got a text message from my son. Okay, so crit chance. Between 45 and 60. That's what you want. Crit damage, I go for well above 100%. That's what the Grupo Sombra's for. But everything that I have in my build, in my strikers build, as you can see, is rolled into crit damage. My Memento backpack got a 12% crit damage mod. Crit damage rolled on the gloves, crit damage on the the Seska chest piece, crit damage, crit damage. I could put one more crit chance mod on, or one more crit chance piece that'll put me up to 50, but I'm fine at 42 because I make it up on the damage. Or I can do something like put on a gun, which has in itself a mod. Like the St. Elmo's has 20% crit damage on the sight. The handle has 20% weapon handling, and the muzzle has 20% crit chance. That's gonna change when the update comes around. But it is what it is. The St. Elmo's is literally a very stable, high crit chance gun. So as you can see, my crit chance is now at 52. But I'm starting to shy away from the St. Elmo's engine. If you want to see something like the Chameleon, which is a SMG variant AR, because I'm sorry, that is a vector. If you didn't know, the the Chameleon is a, if you look at it, it is a vector SBR, uh, AR turned shot SMG turned into an AR. Like as you can tell, it has crit chance on the sight. The barrel has accuracy. The grip has stability, and then I got 20 rounds on it. But like I said, it's an SMG turned into an AR. So knowing which gun you want to use is also ideal as well. Like if you like range, the Bighorn, it it stacks, its talent stacks on headshot damage. Like the more headshots you get, the higher the headshot damage increases. Like its base is, as you can see, I'm sitting at 32 crit chance, but its headshot damage is 105. And then you look at its talent. Its talent is big game hunter. Pay no attention. It says that when scoped in, because it switches from an AR to a rifle, and it has 400% weapon damage with each headshot. Right. So you turn the scope and you magnify into the scope, get a headshot, boom, it's 450% headshot damage. But if you're firing, it headshots grants 4% headshot damage and stacks up to 25 times. So that means that if you're getting up to 25, once you get the stacks all the way up, you're shooting 100% headshot damage because it's 4 times 25, which is 100, right? Once that full stacks, 10 stacks decay over 4 seconds. So pretty much it is a headshot gun. It is designed for headshots. I like ARs. If you are the type that like SMGs, in my opinion, the best SMG non-exotic is the Vector SBR 45 because you can put the long underbarrel scope on it and the long underbarrel laser pointer. My bad. And I run mine with flatline. And the technician class, you can put the link laser pointer on it, and every NPC or player that you put that red dot on, they'll instantly pulse, and you're doing 15% more weapon damage to them based on that because of flatline. Killer is another good one with the Dark Winter. Each kill grants you a crit damage for 10 seconds, 50% crit damage. Frenzy is a good one for an LMG. As you can see, I got two determined rifles, but I only use those when I want to run through the control points pretty fast. For your another good two ARs the three that I like the most. The MP4 I like just because you get the long underbarrel and it's a high rate of fire. I like the shield splinter. The only gripe that I have about the shield splinter is it doesn't have an underbarrel as a mod. So that's another thing. When you're building your build, know which guns are minus a mod because in the end, that underbarrel is missing, whatever crit damage could go there. So you have to weigh your pros and cons. I like the shield splinter because the rate of fire is higher, So I feel like I can do without that underbarrel. For the tactical MK16, I love this gun. I really do. I just wish it had 10%, 10 to 15% higher rate of fire. But you can mitigate that by putting together a build like, say, strikers. Uh, let's see. Put on your strikers, and that gives you, because remember, strikers gives you the rate of fire increase. And now I'm at 719.
Hostile supply
And
convoy
it's a
detected.
fairly stable gun. It really is. Give you an example of it. So knowing your weapons when you're making your build is a huge thing as well. Before you start putting together your pieces, I think I know going away. Before you start putting together your pieces of
Received.
your gear set, choose your weapon first, because the weapon makes a huge difference. No matter what build you have on,
Detecting additional
if you don't
hostile
have on,
contacts.
if you don't have the right gun for that build or weapon for that build, it's pointless. So, like the rate of fire on this one
Initiate medical
is
assistance
horrible.
needed.
He's gonna hit by me, really.
Agent down.
That's crazy.
Incoming hostiles detected.
So,
Hostile
as you can
control
see, the
unit
rate of fire
nearby.
on that is not that huge, but the damage is there. Like the MK16 is a really powerful gun, and the stability and accuracy is massive on it as well. Is that another resource convoy? That is another resource convoy. Make it their attention without setting off the checkpoint. I think I can. I like this one over there, the P416. And I say that because when I put the link laser pointer on it, as you fire, you can see it jumping, and it kind of throws off which, in my opinion, because my ADD takes over, and it throws off me on the reticle versus the actual fire. So, because usually when you fire, you want to pay attention to the bullet stream that you're creating. And sometimes that laser pointer will throw it off. Know which guns has a massive recoil?
Detecting additional
Because
hostile
recoil can throw you off
contacts.
as well. I wanted to go into this control point with a different build to show you the best way to figure out what build is good for you. First, I wanted to cover,
Golden
again,
bullet complete.
knowing your weapon is ideal. So choosing the right weapon is completely up to you. Depending, and it's okay to test out different weapons, because that's why my inventory is so huge, is because I've tested out weapon after weapon after weapon with different types of builds. So first, start out which weapon you feel will be your favorite, starting out with. Don't go with what everybody else does. Like everybody will say, go with the FAMAS, go with the
Incoming
Kingbreaker.
hostiles detected.
That's the best one. Yeah, it's decent because that's what they have been used to playing with. Find out which gun is good for you. Like as you can see, I can take this off, and I can put on the Chameleon. And the Chameleon, the way it works is you build stacks up with this gun, and this gun building stacks up is amazing when you're doing something like taking on uh, NPCs that are very tanky. Because once you build the stacks up, like the
Hostile.
headshot damage and the leg damage and the body damage, when all of them are combined, you are melting through NPCs. Now, initially starting out, yeah, it does suck. Oh, I hate when they do that. So that's part one. You see, these guys are good at flanking me. They're trying to suppress me with the fire shots. That's why that purple guy's trying to make his way to the other side. They love to flank you. Okay, homie.
detected.
You are pissing me off.
Got a spare one for me, Agent?
No, I do not. Oh, I'm out of ammo. So I had to switch to the Vector, as you can see, because I'm out of ammo. The Vector's good. When you get a high rate of fire weapon, always know you will run out of ammo eventually, just because it's a high rate of fire. Slow rate of fire guns, your ammo is more conserved, but that doesn't make it optimal. Low rate of fire guns, they have a higher DPS, but they normally got massive recoil, which is why the tactical MK16 is one of my favorites because it's a low rate of fire and it has great stability and accuracy, and the recoil is not really, it's almost negligible.
Hostile supply convoy.
Oh, is that another
Nearby.
supply convoy? Oh, it's the same one. I have to go and get it.
Golden bullet.
What did you hit me
Received.
with?
Tear these bastards to pieces.
I normally don't go through this much, the med kits. I think it's just because I was
Completed. The golden
trying to
bullet.
talk to you all and, you know, showcase some of the weapons. But the whole point is knowing your gun before you pick your gear set. Know which weapon you want to choose first, because you see that middle thing on the chameleon is white. That means that I'm doing 90% more weapon damage than I started out with, which is perfect for that guy right there. I can tear him apart. Why do I say that this is a great weapon for PvE and not PvP? PvP is more upfront. Everything that you can do, all the damage you want is what we call upfront damage, or what they call burst damage. That's all the damage that you can do in the very beginning, and not something that is sustained. This one is a build-up gun or sustained damage gun. Once you get your stacks, it's phenomenal. But in PvP, when you die, unfortunately, these stacks go away and you have to start back over. So you ended up, if you didn't get them in the very beginning, you won't get them again, and more than likely, you won't ever get the stacks built up unless you have a heavy tank build. And even then, with the tank build, you end up getting the DPS that you would in a standard, you know, half blue, half red build. So knowing the gun is key. Like the chameleon is great. As you can see, I got pretty much every exotic except for the ones that came with the day one openers, like the ruthless is, I think, the only challenge, is the only exotic gun I don't have, which is weird. I don't know where the ruthless is. I purchased the pre-order when it first came out, so I should have got it, but I never did. And I'm not the type to gonna call the devs and be like, hey, y'all screwed me over. Carbine 7 is good. It's very stable, very accurate. The rate of fire is in between fast and slow. So that is a poor man's St. Elmo's. The CTAR, in my opinion, is probably one of the greatest. But the damage, for some odd reason, is not the same as the FAMAS. I don't know why. They're the same rate of fire. Should be around about the same DPS, but there's a variant off there for some reason that it's just not doing that kind of damage. P416 is a decent gun, as you can see. Like I said, it's stable. But let's see, when I put on a link laser pointer, you'll see that the bullet stream it converges with the red link laser pointer, but then they go off, so it throws off your shot. But other than that, it's a very stable gun, and the rate of fire is decent as well. So if you like that, that was the gun to have when Division 2 first came out. So now that we covered guns, weapons, let's go to what was I having? The Eagle Bearer. All right. Let's go to the builds. What builds you choose is up to you. Don't listen to anybody else telling you that you should run vigilance, you know, with spotter or glass cannon or whatever it is. Choose whatever talent you feel comfortable with. If you look at my loadouts, You see, I'm all over the place because I love creating new builds. I call it going into the lab and making new compounds. I go in there and I create together whatever I feel and I think would go or pair with something. I'm always testing and retesting and doing stuff. Go in and figure out what each talent does. Like you said, I have a negotiator. I feel like negotiators is probably one of it is the most powerful PvE and PvP build out there. The problem with it is that survivability is like not like my other builds where I can stack bonus armor. But once I get somebody marked and I'm doing damage, they can't really compete with me because it's very strong. I have an adrenaline rush, unbreakable. I really don't like unbreakable, but in PvP, it's almost a must. But that's my adrenaline rush, intimidate, well, build that turned into an adrenaline rush, unbreakable build with the Picaro's holster and the Catharsis mask. There's my PvP striker build. That's an armor regen build that I put together a while back and I haven't put on since. But that annoys the crap out of people. Again, there's my PvP strikers build, not strikers, negotiators dilemma. That is my drone annoyance build that I put together. It's still a work in progress, but I like it. Gives me heals, and I'll pull out my drone, and it annoys the bejesus out of players in PvP. And here's my Umbra PvP build, which that can be substituted with the Umbra PvE build. There's my Hardwire Legendary build, and there's my Striker. So I got Hunter's Fury, I got the Vigilance, with the tactical MK16 PvP build. There's my System Corruption. That one took me forever to get because the backpack just wasn't dropping for me, and one of my clanmates dropped it for me. Uh, as you can see, none of the names on my loadouts match the actual loadout. That's how quickly I come up with an idea and I just save without changing the name. Uh, that's a work in progress. I'm testing out. I don't really like the Eagle Grasp. Uh, it should have been better, but it wasn't. I need to change that. But again, I digress. Knowing which talent works best for you is key, and knowing which talent does what. So let's start out with the backpack. I I like Memento's backpack because the trophies that drop give you armor, bonus armor, and for 3 minutes you get uh, armor regen, uh, DPS, and I think it's skill efficiency, right? Yeah, skill efficiency, bonus armor, and weapon damage, and that goes on for literally 3 whole minutes, right? So, and that's up to 30 stacks. That's just the Memento backpack. That's why I enjoy that one. So, sorry, I'm getting a text message again. So, once you get that fully stacked, you have 5% weapon damage, and 5% skill. Well, is it five? No. Oh my God, more text messages. That's my other son. Okay, so is it 300? No, 300 seconds is 5 minutes. My bad. So you get for 5 minutes, you get 1% weapon damage and 1% skill efficiency and 0.1% armor regen with the max. So that if you do the math on that at full stacks, 30% weapon damage, 30% skill efficiency, and what is that? 3% armor regen over 5 minutes. So that's huge. Or if you want to mix and match, the Ninja Bike is pretty good too. It acts like the Memento, where it has a red, blue, and yellow core built into it, and you can take that and mix and match different gear sets. Go into the brand sets. Know the talent. I like the talent perfectly unstoppable force because that gives you at 7% weapon damage for 15 seconds after a kill, and if you get five up to 5 kills, then it stacks. Uh, Wait, grenade kills add 2 stacks. Did not know that. Huh? So it stacks up to 5 times. I.e., ideally, if you can consistently get kills for 15 seconds, you're doing 35% more weapon damage. Then you have adrenaline rush for when somebody gets in your range and you get their bonus armor. It acts like an alert system because you're wondering why you got the bonus armor. You look around, there's an NPC behind you or a player in the vicinity of you. A lot of people run this with Hunter's Fury, which is fine. My go-to is Companion. Companion, in my opinion, is probably one of the most underrated, or was before people started showing it on YouTube. I always loved Companion over Vigilance, and why? I'll tell you why. So here I go. If you take a look, I have a the Eagle Bear. My damage is at 116.9, which is 117k damage, right? So if I put on my companion backpack, right, which is Seska, I'm gonna change that up because I'm gonna put on Fenris because two companions isn't really. I mean, the hazard protection I don't need right now. So as you can see, my Eagle Bearer is at 106. As you see, when I lost the Memento, I lost that 30% weapon damage that I was getting. So I'm at 106, right? Rounded up to 107. So if I go and I drop my skill right next to me, and I go back in there, they used to show it. I don't know why they don't show it now, because companion should be procced. It used to show that damage increase, and I think it'll only show when someone is near you. That's weird. It used to show you damage, but the way companion works is if a skill is while you are within 5 meters of an ally or skill, total weapon damage is increased by 15%. And it used to show it right there in your. Oh, there we go. 125. I had to do a weapon swap. 122.5. So that is my weapon damage now with companion proc. So I went from 106 to 122, 107 to 123k, rounding up on both, right? Because my skill is proc. And thankfully, like this one, it doesn't double up. I don't care what anybody says, it doesn't double up. 122 still. Now, that's a huge thing because unlike vigilance, where vigilance gives you that 25% multiplicative damage, or is it 25 or 15? I think it's 25. 25% multiplicative, then it increases your weapon damage by 25%. If you compare that to companion, right? Total weapon damage is increased. Same thing. Instead of 25, you're getting 15 with the companion. But the beautiful thing about companion is that when you take a shot, that damage does not go away. That damage stays so long as you are within range of your skill or your ally, which is why in PvP, you can run this healer drone and it'll stay on you. But the best thing for me is running either the Seeker Ball or the Defender drone. Either way, because their cooldown is a lot shorter than this healer
Hostile
drone.
assembling golden bullet.
Either way, having vigilance is fine, but my go-to in PvP and
Hostile has
PvE
flung golden bullet.
is companion because in PvE, if you had noticed, NPCs don't miss much. I think their hit to miss ratio is like 90 something percent. Like they rarely miss a shot. Trying to get up on one to see if I can get that damage going.
Received. Golden bullet.
There you go. Stay right there. Just trying to prove a point. See, I'm hitting almost 1 million on the damage. But that could be the golden bullet as well. So I'm not gonna say that that's all companion.
Hostile control point detected.
But with companion, I can take a shot and I won't lose my 15% like I would losing the 25% with vigilance. Now a lot of people will say, but it's only 4 seconds, and sometimes if you put the shield on, it doesn't really disappear. Or you can run something like forget what it is. What's the name of that chess piece? Tardigrade. Tardigrade works that if you vigilance works that if you got bonus armor on, the damage you take it doesn't affect vigilance. Vigilance will not disappear. Same thing with Heartbreakers. If you got bonus armor with vigilance on, the damage that you are taking isn't registered towards your normal damage. So vigilance stays procced. Now, again, knowing your backpack is huge. Vigilance is another one. The damage that you get on it, it's like it's ridiculously strong, but when you're being shot, it dissipates, and you have to remain in cover or whatnot without taking damage again to get that thing to proc again, and it's fine. A lot of people still swear by it, and that's cool. There's Unstoppable Force, in my opinion, for a DPS build. Unstoppable Force in PvE is amazing because, again, like I said, the regular one gets you up to 25% weapon damage versus, you get an additional 35% if you put on something like the Backbone. Now, you miss out on selecting a decent backpack, i.e., what they call the BIS or the best in slot, right? What is the best in slot for your build? Like the backpack here, Unstoppable Force, the perfect one is on the Lingmo, which its brand set talents are 20% explosive resistance, 25% skill health, and 30% LMG. For me, perfect Unstoppable Force is wasted on that brand set because I like DPS. And my DPS and explosive resistance, unless I'm building up around explosive resistance, is not really helping me out. Or skill health in the middle of that. That I don't run skill, so that's like, really? So knowing what's best in slot, the Matador, that's a good, perfect talent built on a nice back. The Walker and Harris gives you 5% weapon damage with 5% damage to armor and 10% damage to health. One of my favorites, Versatile. Right now, Versatile is a little dead talent because it's a situational gun where you have to
Hostile supply
know,
convoy detected.
you have to swap weapons here and there. But if you're like me and you have 3 different types of guns, which for some odd reason Versatile doesn't proc on the pistol, and I don't know why. Like I don't understand if you have a talent that is geared centered around you know, having the ability to be versatile between your primary and secondary weapons, why can't you have a stat for your tertiary weapon that lets you know how much the devs realize that guns, the pistols, aren't really that specific? Because in my opinion, if that was the case, this build along with, I mean, that backpack talent along with, do I even have it on me now? I think I put it in my stash. There's another talent called Gunslinger, right? That gives you another boost from weapon swapping on the chest piece. And honestly, I was waiting for them to adjust the Gunslinger and the versatile backpack to include pistols. That way, when I do, I put on the busy little bee, build my stacks, and then I swap weapons, and then I got this buku amount of weapon damage in that could apply. But I'm getting over my video. So, long story short, knowing what's best in slot is also good for your backpack talent. Also, when you and this is a caveat. This is not a caveat. This is a huge thing for knowing how to build your builds in in PvE and PvP. When you're building your red cores and your blue cores, for whatever build you're doing, know the percentage of armor that you're sacrificing. There's no point in running a like right now. I put my Fenris on as a red core, but remember my chest piece has one of the no, my chest piece has the highest armor stat, so it's more optimal to run a red chest piece, no, a blue chest piece over a red if you're doing your half like tank builds or half tank build where you're running 3 and 3. Having a blue chest piece is better than having a red because it has the highest percentage of armor over the mask and the glove and the holster and backpack. The second highest is the backpack. That is preferred to have a blue. So if that is the case, then that should be blue, and your glove should be red because the weapon damage is 15% across the board. Doesn't affect your armor. So having a red glove, a red holster, which is 99K, this is 80K. The two reds should ideally be the mask and the glove. Having a red chest piece is almost a waste to a tank build, and but that's just because I don't have a Fenris that on me right now that I don't think I do. Let's see. This is I need a blue Fenris. As you can see, I had to roll a blue on that one. That's my PvP chest piece with whatnot. But if I had a blue with with crit chance and crit damage, I would prefer that one in my obliterate Fenris, and then this would be the red. I would put on that red striker glove. That way I can maximize my blues. Uh, and this is just an introduction to you making your builds. You know, if you want to start out with a brand set, that's fine. Know which brand sets are good. Like the Grupo Sombra and the Seska, those are your crit chance, crit damage. Hands down. Like, see, this is my armor, crit chance, crit damage mask. You know, for if you want to go for, like I said, if you want to go for a backpack memento you don't have, go with a, you know, Seska, uh, go with the Seska Companion. That's a beautiful one. If it was a blue, I prefer to have a blue that you can see like my adrenaline rush. It would be blue. That should be blue. You know, but like I said, you want to have your backpack and your chest piece as a blue core because they have the higher base armor compared to all other gear set, all other apparel or clothing in that loadout. Your choice between which gear set you want to run over a brand set, that's all completely up to you. If you want to run strikers, I know a lot of people are getting striker tired. You know, there is another option. You can go with your Umbra Initiative. Umbra Initiative is a hard gear set to learn, but it's actually really fun to play with. Now, I'm not gonna lie, its DPS is bar none really high because it increases its crit chance or crit damage once you pop out of cover, into the light, out of the shadows into the light. Great talent. If you want to run, you know, mostly reds, people are going with the contractor's glove and the Foxprayer knee pads. Me personally, I have a build for it. I just don't like the fact that the contractor's glove, its initial one is an LMG. Its very first top talent is LMG. I'm not really an LMG runner. Don't get me wrong. I like the LMGs. I just don't. But everybody uses it for the multiplicative damage that they get from the damage to armor. Fine. Same way with the Fox Prayer glove knee pads. The people like it because see, I got two of them. They run it because of the 8% damage to target out of cover. But again, On the knee pad, its very first its brand set talent is 10% rifle damage. That is a wasted 10% stat, in my opinion. I'd rather go with something with crit chance if I'm gonna go in that area, or something that I can stack onto. Some of the stuff, well, all the stuff on the brand set has a 2, 2, 3/4. Well, the brand sets, they have a 3 set minimum to max out their, to get all of their pieces activated. The Walking Harris. If you don't want to go with a 3 piece set, you can go with two and get the weapon damage and the damage to armor. The damage to health really isn't a big deal on the PvP end, but on the PvE end, the NPCs have a high health pool. So having health damage is huge. The Grupo Sombra, its third piece is headshot damage. 20% explosive damage is good if you're running with Secret Mine or the artillery turret. The Palisades, that is a great way to run a what they call a rainbow build, or hybrid build, if you want to run skills and whatever. But I run mine as a rainbow build because I want to do damage and have my, I want my turrets to be powerful, not overwhelming, but powerful enough to have somebody say, "What the heck is hitting me?" For your gloves, choose which glove you want to. If you want to run a mission and you're trying to help your teammates out, like if you're doing a legendary, having the VTSU gloves is great because if you drop a hive and you destroy that hive and go into overcharge and your players or your team has ran out of hives, that is a great glove to have because you can overcharge it and they'll get that hive right back. You know, Chest piece, if you're running with a team, Tardigrade is decent because it gives him bonus armor. The Ridgeway product causes bleed and gives you some health at the same time. Uh, Empress is good for skill builds. Look, I can go through a ton of this stuff because if you look at the map, there's a ton of gear and brand sets that you can run. In the Dark Zone and all. In each mission, you can go in the underground, not underground, that's Division 1. You can go into Summit and select your targeted loot. You can go into where is that? The countdown, do the exact same thing. But what you choose to do, whether you want to be a skill player, you want to be a healer, or you want to be a DPS or tank, whatever build you run, first know your playstyle. That is completely 100% important in starting out in the division as you progress past level 40. Knowing how your playstyle is huge. I can't tell y'all if you go into a legendary or if you go into PvP or you go into any mission in heroic and you're with a group or you go into a raid and you don't know your playstyle and you're doing it based off of what somebody said on YouTube, you will find out quickly that you aren't really up to it. So first, learn your playstyle. Don't go off of what somebody else is. If you are the type to hang back and snipe, be that player, but build it around that playstyle. If you are an AR or SMG person and you like mid range like me, know which builds are set for mid range. If you are the type that is a running gun. Find the build that is perfect for running gun. Their striker is good for it, Umbra is good for it, Hunter's Fury is great for it. You like shotguns, fine. But don't go into certain missions where, like, if you do a legendary or running and gunning, is a is a detriment to your team. If you're tank build and you like to run and gun, and you are basically shielded up, remember while you pull your shield out and you are in front of an NPC and you are blocking them, that's great that you can survive that. But if you are in front of them, your teammates can't shoot them because they're too busy hitting your shield. So know the play style, know the team, help out where you can. If you are a healer, hang back. Heal your teammates. Don't be up front, trying to do damage because if you're the healer, they rely on you for heals. And if you're down, they're not getting healed, they're too busy getting picking you up. But I'm gonna end this video right here. I'm gonna pick up on a part two, uh, and do my best to explain. I guess how to apply this particular you know what? We'll get into that in part two. Like I said, we're gonna talk about which gear sets is I would run. And then after part two, I'm gonna do what I like to do is so you want to run a legendary. Once you figure out your gear set and your brand set or whatever it is, and you're sitting here saying, all right, I have run heroics and I'm pretty good. I want to go into a legendary. After part two, we're gonna talk about legendaries because legendary is way more different than heroic. For all of you who are saying I run heroic perfectly, and I feel like I can do a heroic, and you're like level 900, and you keep getting kicked or people keep leaving the group. There's a reason for that, and I wouldn't take offense to it. But how do you get into a legendary with people without getting kicked and hold your own? There is a trick, and I'm gonna show you exactly how to do it. Because legendaries are very particular. A lot of people are. I'm not the type. I go into a legendary, and if I got a teammate that is if I got a teammate that is like a level 100, I won't kick them out or I won't leave the group. I'll stay in because y'all need to clear. But that's for the next video, the third video. But this is so you want to make a build, part one. It's your boy Trey Day. The next one is going to be starting out with the Umbrella Initiative. That's why I put it on. Yeah. Take it easy. See you in the next one.